I've been sick for the last week, I think. This is not a script that I'm writing down. I am just speaking, and I needed to make a video. So I guess you guys just gonna have to deal with it. My neighbor has been doing yard work, construction work, some kind of work for the last 32 hours straight. I don't know when he sleeps. I do not know when he eats. I do not know when he pees. But he will not stop. Last night, I awoke to such a clatter, and I arose to see what was the matter, and I found that my phone had fallen between my bed and the wall and had collided with the floor at such a velocity that it had shattered upon impact. So that's been how it's been going over. That's how it's been going over at Casa de la Jenny. So because I think it's fitting, I'm gonna talk about sickness. No script today. I can't read. I can't see straight. So here we go. The first time I remember being sick, oh God. Okay, so that's our new clock. Yep, sing your song. This is what I have been dealing with every hour of every day. This is another part of my life that's nice right now, is this clock. Every hour, every day, I'm haunted by this thing. I hope you're getting every second of this. And then you think it's over and watch. Nope. There's a part 2. And it keeps going. Because, you don't need one part. You need 2 parts to really soak it in. Anyway. So the first time I was sick, the first time I remember being sick. So the first time I ever remember being sick, I was sitting on the floor of the cafeteria watching some other grade do this performance of Hawaiian roller coaster ride. And behind me is this girl who was always mean to me, and her name, well, I'm not gonna say it. I'll call her Susan, and Susan looks at me and she says, "Jenny, you're shivering." And I'm like, "Yeah, so what? Maybe I like it." And then she goes, "You have the swine flu," because when my cousin got the swine flu, he shivered. And I was like, "I don't have the fucking swine flu. What are you on drugs right now?" And she was like, "No, you have the swine flu." And then she grabbed the teacher, and the teacher came over, and the teacher was like, "Jenny, you have the swine flu. You're shivering." And I was like, "Why do you keep saying that word?" And then they were like, "Let's take you to the nurse." And then the nurse looked at me and she was like, "Yeah, that's swine flu if I've ever seen it." And I was like, "Stop saying that." And then they called my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, you probably got the swine flu." And I'm like, "What are you people talking about? What is this?" And they took me to the doctor, and the doctor put a stick up my nose, and he pulled the stick out, and it probably had, I don't know what it had on it, like pig DNA or something. And he was like, "Oh yeah, swine flu." So that's the story of how I got the swine flu. The worst sick I've ever been was several years ago when I was a teenager. My brother was sick. He had the stomach flu, and I think he caught it on purpose because he gave it to me, and it sucked so bad. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. My insides wanted to become my outsides. Our parents didn't want us to just have a terrible Christmas Eve, because it was Christmas Eve. They put on Die Hard, and it was so miserable. But now every year we watch the Die Hard as a family, as a reminder that it is a Christmas movie, and 2, that every day we don't have the stomach flu is a gift from God. There was this one time that I thought I was sick, but that I wasn't. It was when I went to the doctor for the first time without my mommy, and I went into the room, and the nurse comes in with that stupid thing that goes on your finger to take your pulse, and I never found out what it said, but she looks at it, and she gets this weird look on her face, and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm gonna go get the doctor." Never something you want to hear anywhere. And so the doctor comes in, she looks at me, and she's just like, "I think there's something wrong with your heart." And I said, "What is that?" "Oh, that's like the one thing I don't want there to be a problem with." And she's like, "Yeah, I might need to send you to a cardiologist. Like, this is so fast. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just the human form of a chihuahua. I'm in a constant state of panic. And she's like, well, go home, take your heart measurements in your home environment and come back and let me know. And if it's high, I'm gonna send you to a heart doctor. And I was like, okay. And so I go home, and yeah, it was all normal. I'm just so nervous all the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recollection of my sickly memories and this current one that's being added to the repertoire. I don't know if you hear the intense yard work, construction work. Yep. Okay, happening outside. I think he's making 50 dog houses or something. Oh, and now he's playing copyrighted music. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to end this video, so I think I'm just going to cough really loudly into the microphone, and that'll be the ending. That'll be funny, right? That'll be funny. Okay, let me bring it closer. Okay, ready? Okay, you know the drill. My favorite comment from last week, where the question was, what's something you don't trust? SleekyBox777JR says, water. And nothing else. Just water. SleekyBox, I think you might have rabies. So, anyway, this week's question, tell me about the worst time you've been sick. Like, if you... nothing too bad, you know what I'm saying? Nothing, like, too gross, but just, like, tell me a funny story of a time you've been sick. And I will be patiently waiting to hear that. Okay, thank you for watching whatever this is. If you made it this far, which I severely doubt, thank you, and please like and subscribe and maybe share, and if you didn't like it, please don't tell me or I'll cry, which I'll be doing that anyway, but bye!